Hi, third grade readers. For today's reading lesson, you are going to use that information we learned in reading the other day about how to summarize narrative nonfiction. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be reading a book that is narrative nonfiction on Epic. It's called Dozers Run. And the link for this video is right here in your lesson, so you don't have to worry about typing it in and searching it on Epic. The link is right here for you. If when you get to Epic, if it prompts you to sign up for Epic, all you need to do is up in the top right-hand corner, click to log into your Epic account with our Odyssey class code. And then once you've logged into Epic, X out of that tab and come back here, click on the link again for the Epic book, and it should open up fine and you should be good to go. If that doesn't happen, comment on the lesson and we will help you to make sure you get access to this book, because you must use this book, Dozers Run, for today's reading lesson. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be summarizing this narrative nonfiction book. I'm going to show you an example of one that I've done. So I read the book, The Story of Ruby Bridges by Robert Coles. You might be familiar with this one. So again, just like the book Dozers Run that you're going to be reading, this book is narrative nonfiction, which means it's all real, true information. Even though it doesn't have real photographs, they're illustrations, it's still nonfiction. It's still real, true facts, but it's told in a narrative format, not boxes and bullets. It's a story. So there's events that happen in order, first, next, then last. So what I suggest you do while you're reading your narrative nonfiction book is exactly what I did. I had my Post-its and a pen or a pencil. So make sure you have these materials. If you don't have any Post-its lying around, get your personal whiteboard, get a piece of paper. You just need something to write on and something to write with. So make sure you have those before you start reading. And what I did while reading the story of Ruby Bridges is I paid close attention to the events that happened in my story. And with every event that happened, I was writing it down on Post-its. I still have to finish the rest of my story. I have my first two events, but I still have to get the rest of my events written down. So as the events happen in my story, I'm going to jot them down on Post-its. And I'm going to make sure that I label them with numbers in order of how they happened. So after, when I go to summarize it, I have my notes on my Post-it to help me do my summary, to tell my events in order as they happened. So for example, the first two that I did, number one, we first meet Ruby at the age of 4 when she's moving from where they lived in Tylerton, Mississippi, moving to New Orleans, Louisiana. Number 2. So I'm going to do my summary. All right, on number 1, I said we first met. I used that transition word first. Now I want to think of my other sequence words to transition. Oh, here we go. Next, the court orders Ruby and 3 other black children to go to white elementary schools. So I've told my first 2 events in order in my summary. I did first, next, then. So then, I'm going to look back in my book here for help. Okay, so then Ruby has her first day at the William Frantz Elementary School, where she's met by an angry mob of protesters who are not happy that she started school there. Okay, so first we met Ruby when she was moving at the age of 4. Next, the court ordered that she and 3 other black children attend white elementary schools. Then, on her first day, Ruby was met with an angry mob of people. Number 4. After that, there's another transition word. After that, no white children were going to school. All their families kept them home. So it was just Ruby at school, all alone by herself for months. Finally, so I'm thinking at the end of my story now, I did first, next, then, after that. Finally, we learned that Ruby was praying every morning and every afternoon on her way to school for the people in the mob, hoping that they would be forgiven and hoping that they would change. And we learned that they did. They eventually sent their children to school with Ruby, where they all learned together. So I retold my story, my narrative nonfiction story. I used my jots, my Post-its, to help me tell my summary. And I used my transition words like first, next, then, after that, finally. You are going to do that today with Dozers Run. Now listen carefully. You must, that means it's not optional, you must have 5 events that you include in your summary. Just like I did. I had 5 events. So what I suggest doing is have 5 Post-its. So take 5 Post-its, 1 for each event, and that'll help you to remember that you need 5 events in your summary. So then you're going to take each of those events that you jotted down and you're going to write a summary here in this document that you're seeing on my screen right now, right where it says right here. So you're going to then type your summary, but you can't just have it jotted like you did on your Post-its. They need to be full, complete, 3rd grade quality sentences. Capital letters, punctuation. We don't want to have to keep saying capital letters and punctuation. Come on, 3rd graders. You guys can do that. And use those transition words. So, let's double check. How many events do we need? We need 5 events. Make sure there are 5 events in your summary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure you have 5. So you're reading Dozers Run, the whole entire book, and finding 5 events, and you're going to retell them in your summary in order in this document here. If the book takes you less than 25 minutes to read, make sure that you do other reading so that way you get your full 25 minutes of reading for today for your reading log, because you still have to fill out your reading log and do 25 minutes of reading. You can use the time that it takes for Dozers Run as part of your 25 minutes, but you do need to make sure that you read a total of 25 minutes. So if Dozers Run takes you less, you need to read some other books to get you a total of 25 minutes. Enjoy the book. We cannot wait to read your summaries that have 5 events told in order with those transition words. Happy reading!